Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the Liam Neeson action thriller The Commuter that also stars Verma Famiga, Patrick Wilson, Sam Neill and Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad fame. And this film tells the story of Liam Neeson's character, who is an ex-cop who for some reason now, and it's never fully explained, is an insurance salesman. And at the beginning of the movie you basically spend the first 5 minutes of the opening credits seeing his humdrum life, basically his commute to and from work, his work life, his home life. It's all like blends into one. It's basically just trying to get the message across that he has the same old routine every single day, and that basically he commutes on the same train every single day. He sees the same faces every single day, which ties into what we're going to get to later. And then it cuts to him at his job doing his insurance sales, and he loses his job out of the blue. Been there 10 years, loses his job. So on the commute home, he's not in the best of moods, and he is greeted by Verma Famiga's character, who basically sits down next to him and makes a proposition and basically says to him, would you do this task for me? Hypothetically, if you were paid £100,000 and you had to find somebody on this train who didn't belong, and they've got a bag, and she gives the person's name, would you do it? And would you tag them, sort of thing? And he's like, what are you on about? Hypothetically, is this? And she's like, oh, yeah. And then as she leaves and gets off that next stop, she basically says, right, this is happening, this is real, do it. He still doesn't believe it. He goes and looks in the toilets where she said there was $25,000 hidden, which was the down payment for the task that they've given him, and it's there. To his amazement, there's 25 grand there in the toilets, in the on the train, and then it all gets real very quickly. He's informed very quickly over the phone that he's got to do this task, and it's strongly hinted that his family is in danger. So he's got to, using his previous knowledge as a police officer and also his in-depth knowledge of people travelling on this train journey every day, who doesn't belong and who this very important person is that needs to be found and needs to be tagged. And that's his job for the majority of the movie. He's got to whittle people down and figure out who's who doesn't belong, etc, etc. There's a few red herrings along the way, a few action scenes thrown in for good measure, and it all goes a bit John Wick at the end, I suppose. That's the kind of the story that we get here. This is a fairly typical Liam Neeson action flick, non-stop type movie, Taken, all that kind of stuff. It's the Liam Neeson mould of action movies that we've kind of become used to. Is it a cut above? I'm not. I don't think it is. It's certainly better than Taken 2 and 3 in regards to quality of movie, but there's nothing special this movie. That's not to say it's bad, because I don't think it is. It's a bit sloppy in its writing. I mean, we're basically told that there's a really important person in this train that he's got to find, but he's never really given good explanations as to how important this person is and what's going to happen if this person, gets this information out, how bad it will be for everybody. It just kind of hints at it all. And I would say the first two acts of this movie are pretty good. It's a bit like a whodunit type thing. It's a mystery. He's got to figure out who's who on the train using his thought patterns and knowledge of the people on the train, and I went right into that bit. And then the final act turns into, like, literally, it goes from like Murder on the Orient Express to John Wick at the blink of an eye. And there's like, it just goes ridiculous. The action just goes bonkers, and it lost me a little bit. And then right at the end, it turns into the Samuel L. Jackson movie, The Negotiator. With like the dodgy cops trying to figure out who's who. But because of the poor casting, and I don't want to ruin it, you know immediately who the bad guy is. So sloppy writing. I think not particularly intelligent writing. A charismatic performance by Liam Neeson is what pulls this movie up. He does really well in it, but it's not something that you're gonna particularly remember. But it's not really bad either. It is quite engaging, interesting. It does hold your attention for the most of the movie, but the final act, when it suddenly goes from like this quite tense thriller to this action piece, didn't fit. It didn't seem to fit in the movie for me. It didn't seem like it belonged. I think they went a bit overboard with that, with the action side of it, and it didn't need it. It lost me a bit. So yeah, it is worth the time. It's not a bad action thriller, this.